everyone, we're going to find the equation of the tangent line to the graph at x sub 1, comma y sub 1. For saying sub for subscript. And we have an equation of an ellipse, x squared divided by a squared plus y squared divided by b squared equals 1. A and b are both constants. So let's go ahead and take the derivative of both sides of the equation. So we're going to differentiate with respect to x. For x squared divided by a squared plus y squared divided by b squared. And on the right hand side, we differentiate with respect to x of 1. All right, so we're going to do this implicitly because we have an x and y. So when you differentiate this piece, and remember a and b are just constants, that's going to be 2x divided by a squared. And this is times derivative of x with respect to x plus 2y divided by b squared. And this is times derivative of y with respect to x. And this part here just equals 0. Now, this just equals 1, so let's just erase that. Now, let's go ahead and solve for dy dx. So we're going to subtract this from both sides. We're going to get 2y divided by b squared times dy divided by dx equals negative 2x divided by a squared. And then we're going to divide both sides by this, so we get dy divided by dx equals negative 2x divided by a squared divided by 2y divided by b squared. So this is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So let's just multiply this by the reciprocal instead, like that. And I'm going to erase this. So what happens is the 2's cancel. And we're going to get negative b squared x divided by a squared y is your slope. Also, y is in the denominator there. So let's make sure we add that y cannot equal 0. All right. Now, we can do our equation of the line now. And let's do that. Again, my slope was negative b squared x divided by a squared y. And y cannot be 0. All right. So we can use point slope form. So we have y minus your y sub 1 equals your slope. Now, since we're using x sub 1, y sub 1, we have to put x sub 1 and y sub 1. And this is times x minus x sub 1. All right, now solving for this. Let's go ahead and cross multiply this up here. So we're going to cross multiply this, and we're going to get a squared y sub 1 times y minus a squared y sub 1, and this is y squared, equals negative b squared x sub 1 times x minus x sub 1. Now, there's a little trick here that we can do to simplify this, because what I want to do is I want it to look like this a little bit so I can use substitution. So what I'm going to do is divide everything by a squared b squared. So I'm going to divide everything by a squared b squared. Now when I do that for this piece here, I'll get y sub 1 times y divided by b squared, because the a squares will cancel. Then we're going to get y sub 1 squared divided by b squared, because again the a squares would cancel. Now on this side, the b squares will cancel, so you're going to get negative x sub 1 divided by a squared, and then we have x minus x sub 1. All right, what I want to do is group my, let's see, I want to distribute here, I guess. Let's do that. So we still have y sub 1 times y divided by b squared minus y sub 1 squared divided by b squared equals negative x sub 1 times x divided by a squared plus x sub 1 squared divided by a squared. Now, the next thing I want to do is group things together. So I'm going to group my squares together, and I'm going to group these two together. So when I do that, I will get x sub 1 times x divided by a squared plus y sub 1 y divided by b squared equals x sub 1 squared divided by a squared plus y sub 1 squared divided by b squared. Now this right here just equals 1, because it's the same as this except that it just has these index 1s there. So finally your equation of the tangent line is just going to be x sub 1 times x divided by a squared plus y sub 1 times y divided by b squared equals 1. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.